Welcome to the December 16, 2019 Frankfort Village Board meeting. We call this meeting to order and we ask our clerk, Jean Savaria, to take the roll, please.
Mayor Holland.
Here.
Trustee Borelli.
Here.
Trustee Clavio.
Present.
Trustee Farina.
Here.
Trustee Ogle.
Here.
Trustee Petro.
Here.
Attorney Mahoney's absent. Attorney Lamore.
Present.
Chief Barica. Admin Pisha.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item on our agenda is what we call the recognition of former trustee Dick Trevarthen. Now, Dick Trevarthen is with us this evening, and his family is here. He resigned for health reasons at our last meeting, our first meeting in December. And so we didn't have anything prepared for him. We had some nice words about him, and we can say some of those again. But at this meeting, we want to present Dick with some things that he can remember his time with the village. So, Dick, if you would join me at the podium, we have a couple of items for you. We have to get by the microphone so that this can be heard on television. So that's the idea here. So first thing, Dick, once again, we want to thank you for 32 years that you served the people of Frankfort as a trustee. That's a long time.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And some of the things that Dick did while he was a trustee, Dick is a professional landscaper. He went to Purdue, he graduated from Purdue University, and then he managed the Prestwick Country Club from about the time it started until, I don't know how many years. How many years at Prestwick?
Just 35.
35 years. So he really made those grounds what they are today, and that's an institution that is very important to our community. Now, Dick's children here were involved in sports programs, just like these young gentlemen. They were baseball players, and Dick was a baseball player. Yeah. He was involved in creating some of the baseball fields at Main Park over those years and volunteered many, many hours there. And one of the things that Dick did is, for our community, is we try to make a high-quality community here. And one way you can do that is you have laws that require nice-looking landscaping. And if you drive into Frankfort, you'll see nice-looking landscaping in front of commercial buildings, even in front of our own front yards. And that a lot has to do with Dick's involvement in creating laws that require that sort of thing. And then in so many of our public spaces, like in Prairie Park or even on the grounds here at this building, Dick just volunteered his time to work with the landscapers and work with the designers to improve all of those facilities. So the first thing we have is a simple clock so you can tell what time it is, Dick. And it says, Village of Frankfort, Richard Trevarthen, Village Trustee, thank you for 32 years of dedicated service. So there's one item that we thought you might like. And then we thought a nice photograph, again, a place where Dick had a big influence on the village, right here at this building. And this plaque says, in appreciation of your contribution to landscape beautification in Frankfort. So for the whole community, Dick, we appreciate that. And then the last one, this isn't it. This is just a mock-up of it, Dick. It's a piece of paper. But this will be a brass plaque that we want to put outside here somewhere. And it says, These gardens are dedicated to Richard Trevarthen, village trustee, 1971 to 2019. Dick ensured landscape beautification remained central to the village's philosophy of building an exceptional community. As he did with these gardens, Dick frequently used his expertise and personal time to improve village-owned landscaping. So that will be on a brass plaque. You're going to have to help us decide where it goes, but
Okay.
I kind of think out by the flagpoles would be a good spot. But
Sounds good.
that's what we're going to be doing.
Thank you.
So there's all the deals, Dick,
Well,
and
thank you,
thank
buddy.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you want to say anything, Dick, you said it before.
Well, I've said it all before, and it has to come from the heart, because it's tough leaving the board. I thought, sure, I could make my term out, but it wasn't meant to be, and I'm fine overall, really. I'm stable, but I miss, it never bothered me coming to village board meetings. I always worried that I had my story straight when I had to give a report, and I guess, one of my final answers is, guys, don't mess up my village. Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is titled Lincoln Way East 8A Football Champions Proclamation. Well, we have quite a group of football players here this evening. I understand that most of you played with the Falcons. We can't fit the whole team into this room, so as I understand it, we have the captains and some of the key people, as well as mostly people who played here in the village of Frankfort. We want to congratulate everyone on the team, though. And so I'm going to ask that, let's first have a motion to approve this proclamation.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve a proclamation honoring the Lincoln Way East 8A football state champions. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, that's good. That passed anyway. So now I can present the proclamation. What I would like is for all the players and the coaches to come forward and stand in front of the Diaz here, and I'll come up to the podium and read some of what this says.
Go back behind the podium too, if you guys want. Yeah, thanks. Dom, stay up here. Jake, stay up here. Is Hoban here? Where's Hoban? Yeah. Hoban.
It's good to see you again. Very good to see you again. Thanks. Okay, now I have to get up close enough to the microphone or they won't hear it on the television. So I get up here. And Rob, thank you for bringing the team here tonight. We certainly appreciate it. This proclamation states, whereas the Lincoln Way East football team won the 2019 Illinois High School Association Class 8A state championship at Northern Illinois' Husky Stadium in DeKalb on November 30, 2019, and whereas the Lincoln Way East Griffins football team delivered one of the most dominant defensive performances in IHSA history, holding Warren Township to just 36 yards of offense and defeating the Blue Devils 12-0. And whereas this talented team of student athletes capped off their second perfect season in 3 years with a 14-0 record, and whereas this is the third state title in program history for Lincoln Way East and its second in the last 3 seasons, and whereas this hardworking team captured the 2019 SWSC Blue Conference Championship and the Dave McKay Gridiron Grail Trophy, and whereas Lincoln Way East has the distinction of being the only high school football team in the state to make the playoffs in each of its years of its existence. And whereas the Lincoln Way East varsity football coaching staff, athletic director Mark Vanderkoy, principal Dr. Sharon Mahalik, superintendent Dr. Scott Tingley, and the faculty and student body of Lincoln Way East are justly proud of the football team's outstanding accomplishments. Now, therefore, the good people of the Frankfort community recognize the Lincoln Way East High School football team for its extraordinary achievements in winning the 2019 IHSA Class 8A State Championship. So there you go. How about that? Congratulations. So who's going to get this? There we go. And if any of you want to say a few words, that's fine. This is a public meeting, you know. You can talk at these, but Rob, at least we want you to say a few words.
No, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the mayor and the village board for this proclamation, and just also to let you know these guys came back last year. We were a little disappointed with how we finished the season, so they came up in January, and especially this past summer, with a motto. And we all wore these wristbands all year that say redefined. And the goal was each and every day we wanted to redefine ourselves and become better as a football program, but better off the field as human beings and citizens as well. We kind of looked at it, the more I thought about it was kind of like the village of Frankfort. We don't sit back and rest on the greatness of the past, but with the mayor and the board, we continue to try to get better and better. And that's what these guys did every day this year, and you'd be proud of them, not only on the field, but off the field as well. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, each one of you.
You guys can thank you. Go home and study for your final exam.
Yeah, you guys got to study for finals, right? Thanks, man.
You guys can take the pictures out here if you want, and then can you bring that back tomorrow morning? Mr. Vanderpool's office? If you want to sign it somewhere.
Say your hand.
But only talk about defense.
Our next item of business is what we call the unanimous consent agenda. All items on the unanimous consent agenda are considered routine in nature and will be voted on after a single motion. If any of the trustees wants to discuss one of those items in more detail, we'll just remove that item from the consent agenda. So I first ask, do any trustees want to remove any items from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Ogle and a second by Trustee Farina to approve the consent agenda. We do want the audience here in the boardroom and the audience at home on television and on the internet to know something about the items we're passing this evening, so we'll go over each of them just briefly. The first item is the approval of the minutes from our public hearing on December 2nd and the minutes from the regular meeting on December 2nd. The second item is the approval of the bills and the payroll, and we'll go to Trustee Borelli for a report on those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The bills tonight total $1,185,309.66. They're pretty substantial, so let me go through a couple key items. There's two big ones that are going towards our wastewater treatment plant expansion. The first to J.J. Henderson, who is working on the north and west plant abandonment project. That bill tonight totals $424,174.89. The second one is for the Hickory Creek Pump Station, and this is to Steve Spees Construction, who is working on that project. That tonight totals $326,300.30. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Very well. Then we had an item from the Economic Development Committee, and we'll go to Trustee Clavio for a report on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. December 11th was the last Economic Development Committee meeting, and they were actually very productive, which is good. Two things before us here relate, one to 10 North White Street and the second to 2 Smith Street. The committee determined it is desirable to sell these properties for the purpose of redeveloping the property and expand space available for commercial business opportunities in downtown Frankfort area. The committee also considered a proposal from Row House Limited to develop a 2-story mixed-use structure along the frontage of Oak Street. The proposal, accompanied by the purchase offer, was for approximately $7 per square foot, which incidentally is higher than the appraised value for that property, which is a good thing, and an offer to pay cash in lieu of parking improvements for any differential between the number of required and provided parking spaces. The village will open a comment period on the purchase offer, during which comments or alternative development proposals may be delivered to the Village Hall at 432 West Nebraska Street, Frankfort, Illinois, until 12 p.m. on Friday, January 31st, 2020. So before that, us tonight, Mr. Mayor, is to accept the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee and adopt a resolution authorizing the sale of the surplus public real estate for the property commonly known as 2 Smith Street, Will County, Frankfort, Illinois, and directing the sale to be conducted by the staff of the Village of Frankfort. The second item, it was the consensus of the Economic Development Committee to forward a recommendation to the Village Board to authorize the sale of surplus real estate at 10 North White Street and direct the sale to be conducted by listing the property with a local licensed real estate agency. So before us tonight on that one, Mr. Mayor, is to accept the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee and adopt a resolution authorizing the sale of surplus public real estate for the property commonly known as 10 North White Street, Will County, Frankfort, Illinois, and directing the sale be conducted by Matrix Realty Group for compensation not to exceed 5% of the sales price. That's all I have tonight on this, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. And then we had a couple items from our Land Use and Policy Committee, and we'll go to Trustee Ogle for a report on those.
Thank you, Mayor Holland. We have a couple ordinance amendments. The first item on here is an amendment to Chapter 119, tobacco sales and purchase of tobacco to persons under 21. And also there will be Chapter 150, building regulations, which is residential garbage can screening requirements. So at the Land Use and Policy Committee that was held on December 11th, our police chief presented a modified proposal for the tobacco ordinance to prohibit the sale and purchase of any tobacco products to persons under 21 years of age. This amendment is to bring our local ordinance into compliance with what the state of Illinois has passed for the tobacco laws. So that motion would be to accept the recommendation of the Land Use and Policy Committee, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance amending Title 11, Business Regulations, Chapter 119, Tobacco of the Village of Frankfort Code of Ordinances. The Land Use and Policy Committee also discussed a proposed update to the Building Regulations Ordinance. This amendment will establish screening requirements for residential waste receptacles. This ordinance will go into effect August 1st of 2020, allowing staff time to disseminate the information and provide residents an opportunity to comply with the new screening requirements. The motion involved accepts the recommendation of the Land Use and Policy Committee, waives the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance amending Title 15, Land Usage, Chapter 150, Building Regulations of the Village of Frankfort Code of Ordinances. Then we have an item on here for an affordable housing plan update approval. It's a resolution. And also at the December 11th meeting, the Land Use and Policy Committee reviewed the final draft of an update to the village's affordable housing plan. And
The motion is to accept the recommendation of the Land Use and Policy Committee and adopt the resolution approving an update to the Village of Frankfort's Affordable Housing Plan. That's all I have tonight for our committee.
Thank you, Keith. And then back to Trustee Clavio for a report from our Plan Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This one's a tad more exciting. 200 pages and 18 months of hard work on the part of a lot of people. So a lot of kudos goes to this, but before us tonight is to adopt the comprehensive plan document. The plan actually was a process and takes into consideration feedback provided at 5 public open houses, 6 community events, 4 different online surveys, 80 mapped comments, and 131 ideas shared via yourfrankfort.com project. 5 different working group meetings, stakeholder interviews, and most recently the Plan Commission workshop and the Village Board Committee of the Whole meeting. So I'm proud to say that at the November 14th public hearing, the Plan Commission adopted a unanimous recommendation of 6-0 to adopt the 2040 comprehensive plan for the Village of Frankfort. It's kind of like our roadmap going forward. So before us tonight is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance adopting the Village of Frankfort 2040 comprehensive plan. That's all I have for Plan Commission.
Thank you, John. And back to Trustee Ogle for an item from our Operations Committee.
All right, we're playing ping pong or tennis here at this point. This won't be nearly as exciting, but because we're going to be going underground on this particular item, and it's the sanitary sewer system television inspection project. And at the Operations Committee that was held on December 11th, we reviewed 4 bid proposals related to the sanitary sewer television inspection. The inflow and infiltration of these pipes is a common problem, and it's something that we've been trying to address proactively. And this will help identify deficiencies by means of this televising. Basically, a little robot with a camera goes through the sewer pipes and looks around, and there's a technician that monitors this as we go, and then we have our project engineers, an external group that will go through and help identify these deficiencies and try to get ahead of some of these breaks before they become a real problem. Baxter and Woodman, consulting engineers for the project, reviewed the bid proposals and recommended award of the contract to the low bidder, Pipeview LLC, in the amount of $37,330. The motion is to accept the recommendation of the Operations Committee and adopt a resolution awarding the contract to Pipeview LLC in the amount not to exceed $37,330. The other item on here for the Operations Committee was the Web Services Sales Agreement resolution. And also at the December 11th meeting, we consider a request from staff to enter an agreement with Revise LLC for the village website redesign services. That's been many years since we developed that, and certainly the technology and the coding has changed over the years. The current website's outdated in its design, its functionality, its navigability, and lacks many desired features. So this comprehensive redesign of the website will enhance the village's capabilities and provide a better user experience. The motion is to accept the recommendation of the Operations Committee and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a web services sales agreement between the Village of Frankfort and Revise LLC for the village website redesign services in an amount not to exceed $24,700 for first-year services and $2,500 per year ongoing hosting and maintenance services. And that's all from the Operations Committee tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Keith. And then finally, we have an interesting item from a discussion we had at a committee meeting earlier today about marijuana or cannabis sales and in the unincorporated area. And we'll go to Trustee Farina for a report on that.
Thank you, Mayor Holland. The request is to Will County Board to prohibit sale and cultivation businesses of recreational cannabis. The corporate authorities of the Village of Frankfort passed ordinance number 3222 on August 19th, 2019, which prohibits cannabis businesses, establishments in the Village of Frankfort, Will County, and Cook Counties, Illinois. Will County allows the Village of Frankfort and other villages and cities in Will County the opportunity to influence zoning issues within 1.5 miles of their village or city. Will County will soon consider whether to allow recreational cannabis sales and businesses in unincorporated areas of Will County. The Village of Frankfort has determined it is in the best interest of its residents to ask the Will County Board to consider, as part of its discussion on recreational cannabis, prohibiting sale and cultivation businesses of recreational cannabis in unincorporated Will County within 1.5 miles of any communities that have passed an ordinance prohibiting such activities within their jurisdiction. Therefore, the motion is to adopt a resolution formally requesting consideration from the Will County Board as part of its discussion on recreational cannabis to prohibit sale and cultivation businesses of recreational cannabis in unincorporated Will County within 1.5 miles of any communities that have passed an ordinance prohibiting such activities within their jurisdiction. That is all, Mayor Holland.
Thank you, Margaret. And those are all of the items on our consent agenda this evening. So before we vote on them, is there anyone in the audience who wanted to make a comment to the village board about any of these items? Hearing none, how about questions or comments from the trustees?
Mayor Holland, I have a comment. I just want to congratulate Zach Brown, who has been leading the effort on the comprehension plan for the village, as well as Madam Chair Moore Rigoni, our Plan Commissioner Chair, and all the Plan Commissioners. Jeff Cook, our Assistant Village Administrator, who isn't here today, also helped lead workshops and such. And to the board, I know this has been a long process. It's an exciting opportunity for the village, and I'm excited to support this tonight. Thank you, Mayor Holland.
Thank you, Margaret.
I do have a comment here too, and this is on our resolution. We are asking the Will County Board to vote or make an amendment on this. They will be meeting on Thursday, I believe, to vote on this, which would be the 19th. And since we are one of the communities that has opted out for the recreational side, as well as I believe New Lenox has opted out, and Mokina. So we're asking that these communities that have opted out, and we do have some pockets of unincorporated that are on our borders or contiguous to one of these, or even little pockets that are within our, what people might consider Frankfort, is that we don't want to have these businesses that we've unanimously as a board voted to not have here suddenly pop up. And we're asking that our representatives on the county board honor that and that they represent the people here. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Keith. Not hearing anything further, we'll go to our clerk, Jean Savaria, for the vote.
Trustee Ogle.
Yes.
Trustee Petro.
Yes.
Trustee Borelli.
Aye.
Trustee Clavio.
In favor.
Trustee Farina.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item on our agenda is called the Mayor's Report. The first item on the Mayor's Report is a thank you to Jean and Barb Kalinowski. To some of you who know and some of you don't know, Jean has been Santa Claus in this town for many, many years. And we want to express our sincere thanks to Santa and Mrs. Claus for taking out that much time out of their schedules to be the Santa Claus and Mrs. Santa at our tree lighting ceremony on December 5th. Gene was a longtime employee of the village, and he continues to do this for our community. Applications to fill the village trustee vacancy are available at the village hall or on our website at villageoffrankfort.com. That is to fill the remainder of Dick Trevarthen's term, which ends in April 30th on 2021, or it actually ends when the new board member is sworn in sometime after the time that the county certifies the election, I think is what the law says, but no later than sometime early in May. I think our first meeting in May. So what will happen is we have already received some applications. We will review those applications. The trustees will get copies of all of those. And then we will, very likely, I'm sure, we will have interviews of a number of the candidates, and that will be all of the trustees and myself. And then it's up to me to appoint somebody with the advice and consent of the trustees. Residents of Frankfort who are registered voters in Frankfort are eligible to apply. So the deadline for applications is December 30th. Holiday Beautification Award nominations, the winners should be posted later this week. So congratulations to all of the people in the village of Frankfort who took the extra time to make their business or their home or some part of Frankfort look very nice and festive for the holidays. Winter on the Green in 2020, the plans are all finalized. It begins on January 12th with the Ice Fest, which is always very popular, and it goes through February 16th from noon to 2 on each Sunday. So come on out for Winter on the Green activities. And I certainly also want to compliment the staff on this long and arduous procedure of creating a new comprehensive plan. It is a complex task, and it's designed to reflect what the people of our community want to see in their village over the next 20 years or so. So that's the intent. That's the way the staff set about doing it. It was the directions they got from the board, and I think they did a very nice job indeed of getting participation from the public in this in this process. So congratulations on that. I know it takes an extraordinary amount of staff time to make it work, and Zach Brown is with us this evening, and I know he was very instrumental in the whole process. So thank you, Zach. Once again, I want to thank Dick Trevarthen for his years of service, 32 years as trustee, and all those years out at Prestwick, making it one of the great clubs in the whole Chicagoland area. It's really doing very well. Where so many golf clubs are kind of struggling, Prestwick's doing very nicely, and it's great to see. It's a wonderful institution in our community, and Dick was instrumental in that, as well as baseball programs, as well as just being a person who represented the people of Frankfort very well over those 32 years. So thank you again, Dick. And of course, congratulations to the Lincoln Way East football team. They certainly bring a lot of excitement to our community, and they brought great credit to the community. And I would say to the people of Frankfort who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, and to all the people in Frankfort, we certainly wish you a Happy New Year and a great New Year next year. So with that, we'll go on to the Police Department report from our Police Chief, John Barica.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not to sound too repetitive, but of course we want to congratulate Lincoln Way East. They did a great job on getting the championship this year, going 14-0. And of course, we too want to thank Dick Trevarthen for all his years of service as trustee and his support of the PD. He's always been there for us and has been a great asset to the village and the PD. Also want to thank all the residents who have been calling in. We've gotten more calls of suspicious vehicles and suspicious cars in the last few weeks than I can remember in a long time, and we very much appreciate it. People seem to be paying attention to what's going on and calling us when they see something that looks out of the ordinary, and that's exactly what we need the people to do to make the town as safe as we can. So keep calling in anytime you see something like that. I did want to mention that our officers did a great job at the recent T-Mobile robbery to be able to make apprehension and an arrest. We also want to thank Will County Sheriff's Police who were there, Matson Police, and Illinois State Police who all assisted in making that happen. But they did do a great job. Of course, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and safe and Happy New Year to everybody. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind people to lock your doors, take your key fobs inside, and don't leave keys in your car, and take valuables out when you can, and put your garage doors down every night before you go to bed. That's all I have.
Thank you, John. And now for the village administrator's report, we go to Village Administrator Rob Pisha.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am going to be repetitive as well. I want to congratulate Coach Z and all of the Lincoln Way East football team and the program itself. And again, as we've mentioned, that the school does great with the education that it provides as well as the sports programs. Also want to thank Dick Trevarthen. He will be missed on the board. Dick has been a fixture for a lot of us, and again, just what he's brought and his straightforward approach to how he dealt with things will be sorely missed, and we thank him again for his years of service. Certainly, I am very happy to report, Mr. Mayor, that St. Francis Road is open to 2 lanes of traffic. After reporting for how many months that it was coming, it opened on Thursday. It is open to 2 lanes of traffic. It will be that way for the winter. Please be advised, it will close back down to 1 lane of traffic when they restart the project in late spring. But also very happy to report that the entrance to Walnut Ridge subdivision is also open for the winter months. So I think for the residents, they will very much appreciate the fact that they can access St. Francis Road directly and don't have to go all the way around. So thank you to everyone for their hard work getting that to that point. Certainly want to wish my future daughter-in-law happy Hanukkah and her family a happy Hanukkah, and all our members of the Jewish community. I want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, and thank you, Rob, for your efforts on getting Walnut Creek Drive open. That's appreciated. And now, for the attorney's report, we go to our village attorney, Hannah Lamore.
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Hannah. So that brings us to the part of our meeting we call Other Business, and this evening we'll start with our clerk, Jean Savaria.
Well, I guess I'll just echo what everybody else has said. Congratulations on the comprehensive plan and the work the staff has put in. Congratulations to Lincoln Way East on their second state championship in 3 years. Dick Trevarthen, 32 years. I mean, I think we've said it all. Great guy, lot. He contributed to Frankfort over the years. Thank you to the Frankfort Police Department. You guys have been busy, and you guys have done a great job. And then one personal thing, my son is graduating after 3.5 years at Iowa State. I want to congratulate him. Worked hard, Dean's List every semester, so shout out to Gino. And happy holidays. Thanks.
Thank you, Gene. Trustee Clavio.
Jim. Couple dittos as well. Lincoln Way East, congratulations again on that. I think I heard that Coach Z is the winningest coach in high school football ever, which is kind of impressive for our community. And a thank you to the families and parents and relatives and friends of the team as well, because they, just like the players, put in a heck of a lot of commitment to make the team what it is at that point. Dick, again, you'll be missed. Thank you for your service. And I guess my parting words to you, Dick, is boiler up. And then one thing I want to state is we talked about goals this evening, and at our January meeting we dive more into goals. But I would ask for solicitation from our citizens, who we all represent, as to what they want to see for goals for us to accomplish going forward. So the mass majority of people watching us tonight on TV, please send in the goals or spread the word that there's something you can actually tell us what you'd like to see, much like the comp plan, which is fantastic. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, team. Thanks, Jeff, Rob. Comp plan is awesome roadmap for the future. And I have one unfortunate news tonight, is that I really thought Santa Claus was Santa Claus. And it's now just been completely... Oh, there you go.
I've already heard about it.
Yes, there you go.
I said something I shouldn't have said.
We'll just end it there. But Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates in the Christian faith. Happy Hanukkah to the Jewish faith. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa, and happy holidays to everyone. Please be safe. Do not make yourself a statistic. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Trustee Petro.
Thank you, Mayor Holland. It is the season to celebrate, and we certainly had a lot to celebrate tonight. I just want to say thank you again to Trustee Trevarthen for all of his years of service to the Village of Frankfort. His legacy is certainly something to only aspire to be. How exciting that we were able to see the Lincoln Way East football team here with the coach. And I really appreciated his story around the word redefine and what that set for them every day, as whether to be a better football player, a better person, better education. But success certainly doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. And when you look at a record of 3-year run, 40-1, I think that they have really set out to redefine what good looks like. So congratulations to the Lincoln Way East football team again. And that word really resonated with me tonight, redefine, as we talked about our comprehensive plan. I mean, this has been, I can remember when we talked about starting the new comprehensive plan. So to see it be approved tonight from our consultants to our staff and planning commission, the village board, it's just certainly something to celebrate the completion of. And I look forward to bringing that comprehensive plan to life and helping to redefine our community every day and look for ways for us to get better. Lastly, Christmas, I mean, it brings families, friends, and certainly a community together. It helps us to really appreciate the love in our lives that we often take for granted. So may the true meaning of the holiday season fill all of your hearts and homes with many blessings. And I'm wishing all of Frankfort a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Jessica. Trustee Farina.
Congratulations again to Dick Trevarthen. You will be missed, and I look forward to seeing the plaque outside in the garden in honor of your work here in Frankfort. I also want to congratulate the Lincoln Way family for another state championship in football. That's excellent. And then I just wish everyone happy holidays. And to those we miss at our dinner table, a thought to them and a prayer to them and your family as well, as we miss those who we love very dearly. And happy 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Trustee Ogle.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I would use the little Home Alone thing where he goes in and goes, well, I know you're not the real guy, but I know you work for him. So I think we'll take that approach tonight. So the comprehensive plan, again, a lot of dittos tonight. This was it's kind of a living document. It continues to evolve, but appreciate so much how staff has, how much time they put into it. Zach, Rob, Jeff, the whole team, and all the other people were involved, but also the residents were involved. We listened to our residents. We do try to take all these things in, and this isn't carved in stone, but this is designed to be guidelines to help assist us as we develop and as we redefine ourselves too. That something that Coach Z said too was, the wristbands, redefine, to keep coming back better and better each time, and not just as an athlete, but also just as a person. I think that's so important, that what the life lessons that you learn from playing on a team or being part of sports. I have to say something. I think I talked a lot about Mr. Trevarthen last time, and I don't want him to get a big head, so I'm just going to say thank you again. And to our police department also, you have a very difficult job. I happen to be on Route 45 making a left-hand turn as the vehicle blew through the red light, almost hit me the other day, and I thought, well, and then once I saw what they were doing, I said, geez, I hope somebody didn't just get robbed. And literally I came and talked to Rob Pisha a few minutes later, and the police call hadn't really gone out yet, and that's what it turned out to be. And those high-speed pursuits are very dangerous for our officers, for innocent people that are involved, because these criminals they're driving recklessly. They don't care about this, and they're, I think I was looking at a statistic, I think there were, in a 10-year period, there were about 13,000 people killed in these hot pursuits. So it's a very dangerous thing for our officers, our residents, and other people that are involved in the process. So again, thank you very much for the police and all those agencies that work together to pull these guys in. And from my family to my colleagues and to our residents, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a safe and Happy New Year. That's all for me tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Keith. And Trustee Borelli.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I was going to ask Chief Barica, so suspicious vehicles, I tell people just to call 911. Is that the appropriate way to be communicating that, or is there a...
They can call the non-emergency number, which is 815-485-2500, or
Okay.
911 if they feel
Okay.
it needs to be reported.
Just want to make sure I'm relaying the right message. Okay, thank you. Of course, wanted to congrats to Zach, staff, and everyone involved with the comprehensive plan. Lots been said about it already, but I think no one will be celebrating more than Zach tonight, so congratulations. I wanted to say thank you to our Public Works Department, who is truly second to none. This is a little belated, but during leaf collection, my daughter Bella had lost her phone and had been missing for a few days, and lo and behold, it fell in a leaf pile because she was taking pictures with the kids. And one of the Public Works employees came by, found it while they were vacuuming up the leaves, and knocked on the door and gave it to my wife. So that was really great, and I really appreciate how great they are with our residents. So thank you. I wanted to obviously congratulate Lincoln Way East. I know I know last year was very tough for them, a tough loss to Loyola, but to come back and the way they did is unbelievable. And getting a chance to watch their games this season and the semifinals and the finals was really great. Not only a dominant defensive performance, but also a dominating kicking performance. I brought along AJ Henning superfan Bella Borelli, and I think she got his autograph tonight. So she's a huge fan. She used to be a Notre Dame fan, but now she might be a Michigan fan since he's deciding to go there. So we'll see what happens. I wanted to obviously wish everyone happy holidays, and lastly, thank you to Trustee Trevarthen. Thank you for your years of service, and I promise I won't mess it up. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Adam, and that brings us to the part of the meeting we call public comments. Is there anyone who wanted to make a comment to the village board tonight? Not hearing any, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned.